Hello, my friends. I'm Earl Chaney, and it's a true gift to be with you today, to sit and contemplate one of the most profound, yet often the most challenging relationships we navigate in this life, the one between a parent and their grown child. We won't be navigating alone. We will have those four great minds with us: Carl Jung, Niccolò Machiavelli, the Stoics, and Buddha. Will have access to some of their insights. Now, for many of us, the echoes of our youth still linger. That feeling of wanting to break free, to forge our own path, to establish our independence from the very people who gave us life. What we once saw as their rules, their warnings, their firm boundaries, we often labeled as oppression. We felt their love was a heavy hand and their guidance as a chain holding us back. But time, that quiet teacher, has a way of softening our edges. For some of you in your 30s or 40s, perhaps with children of your own now, you are beginning to see. You are beginning to understand as wisdom what you once thought of as oppression. This is a humbling surrender. You see the world's currents, its relentless pace, its empty promises, its constant pressure to compromise, and you begin to grasp why your parents were so adamant about certain things. You see that their seemingly rigid rules were not about control, but about protection. This shift is not just a change in perspective. It is a turning of the soul. It is a moment of deep, quiet grace. And for the parents, now perhaps in their 60s or 70s, a new phase of the relationship dawns. They are mellower, more peaceful, having fought their battles and found their footing. But they still stand as silent guardians, not allowing the world's nonsense to corrupt the pure love that binds family. This delicate dance between the generations is where the Fab Four becomes a brilliant compass. Each of them, in their own way, could see the fault lines and the potential for healing. The fault lines, fourfold wisdom. First, Carl Jung. He would have us look at the unconscious projections at play here. The grown child, even with children of their own, may still be grappling with the parental archetype. What part of their parents do they still need to integrate into their own psyche? Well, for the parents, what is the unconscious expectations of their child? The desire to see a certain image fulfilled? The conflict isn't just about different life choices. It's about the unexamined shadows and complexes passed down through generations. Jung would ask us to recognize this as a collective journey, a shared spiritual evolution. The breakthrough, the epiphany, comes when the child no longer reacts to the parent as a parent, but relates to them as a fellow soul on a similar journey. Next, Machiavelli, in his piercing clarity, would see the dynamics of influence. The parents, now in a position of quiet strength, hold influence, not through force, but through consistency and lived example. Their wisdom is now their power. The children, in turn, are beginning to understand that their own influence in their families, in their lives, is not found in rebellion, but in the principled application of their own hard-won lessons. The Machiavellian insight here is that the true power of a family is not in a single person's rule, but in a shared, unified front against the external forces that would seek to divide it. And this is not sinister. This is a strategic defense of love. Then comes the gentle hand of Buddha. He would point to the root of the former conflict: attachment. The child was attached to their own vision of a perfect or unfettered life, free from parental interference. The parent was attached to their own expectations for their child. All of this led to suffering. The wisdom, the peace, comes from a radical act of non-attachment, of letting go. The parent must let go of their vision for their child's life, and the grown child must let go of their old resentments and the need for their parents to be anything other than who they are. The moment of surrender, the aha moment, is when you realize the weight you have been carrying is self-imposed. The family still has life to live and to love because it has learned to love without clinging and to guide without grasping. And finally, the Stoics. They would ground this all in the dichotomy of control. The parents could not control the choices of their adult children, only their own virtue in offering guidance. The grown children cannot change the past, only their present understanding of it. The Stoic virtue here is forgiveness of self and others. Forgiveness for the mistakes made in youth, and forgiveness for the misunderstandings of the past. The Stoics remind us that we cannot be defined by what happened to us, but how we choose to respond to it. The shared goal is not to change the other person, but to cultivate a family founded on love, virtue, and mutual respect, a family that is a sanctuary from the world. The beautiful outcome here is not a simple resolution, but a profound evolution. It's the moment when the grown child, in a quiet phone call or a simple glance across the table, sees their parent not just as a source of rules, but as a source of wisdom. And for the parent, it's the quiet joy of watching their child, fully grown and with their own family, embrace the same truths they learned a lifetime ago. The family in this new dynamic becomes an unbreakable force of love and service, a legacy of wisdom passed down not through demands, but through example. My friends, the journey to wisdom is a lifelong conversation. It is a dialogue between the generations, between our past selves and our present understanding. If you found the flicker of recognition in these words, if you feel a stirring to understand these deep currents in your own life, then I invite you to join our family. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments. Let others know what you saw. Subscribe to the wisdom of Jung, Machiavelli, Buddha, and the Stoics right now. Do it while we are together. And tap the notification bell. Let's continue this journey together, finding the strength and the serenity to live a life of love and profound purpose. God bless you.